Some say they have seen a gigantic living being, several stories high. We're all going to die. Oh no, run if you can, 'cause Tokyo, Japan is in for big trouble. Looks like Godzilla is real, and once he gets here, he'll reduce things to rubble. There's no time to pack. Run and don't look back. Careful where you hide. Many won't survive. By now he's well on his way, and you're gonna pay if you don't get to racing. But look up in the skies, we're facing demise from an alien invasion. Yes, he is destructive, and we hope he won't advance. But as it turns out, he might just be our only chance. Save the lizard, he will make a stand. City filled with screams and deadly laser beams. A full-scale attack. Can he hold them back? This is a dangerous place. The city's a waste. Battlegrounds epic. Both sides are pummeled and fried with nuclear eyes and death rays electric. Yes, he is destructive. We have seen this in the past. But as it turns out, it's an advantage that he has. Save the lizard, he will kick their ass. The air has gotten thick with broken glass and steel and brick. The aliens are no more. Hear Godzilla's mighty roar. And so the battle was won, and when it was done, he retreated to the ocean. And if we're ever attacked, now then he'll be back, at least that's what I'm hoping. Yes, he is destructive, partly from gargantuan girth. But as it turns out, you know it could have been much worse. Save the lizard, he will save the earth.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another week's chat here on BroBryceHealth. Let me get this fired up over here, and hopefully my dog will stop barking any minute now, I'm sure. Let's see. Let's do that. Oh my gosh. Hopefully. There we go. Completely lost my mind there for a second. And welcome once again to BroBryceHealth, where our slogan is "Let food be thy medicine." I am Bryce Tomlinson. I'm the guy behind BroBryceHealth, and I'm just happens to be a guy who lost 100 pounds and almost all of my chronic pain, which is going to be the focus of our discussion today. That said, I am not a doctor. I cannot give medical advice. If you do need medical advice, you do need to seek out a medical practitioner, a licensed medical practitioner. That being said, I have done thousands of hours of studying studies and research papers and medical lectures and whatnot, and I think I can very well steer you maybe in the right direction as opposed to giving you medical advice. But today our focus is going to be on chronic pain. Of course, as usual, our discussion is wide open for any topics, health related, nutrition related, and so on and so forth. And I want to welcome any of you guys to ask any kind of questions related to health and nutrition that you would like. And in fact, if you want to have a friendly debate, as long as you keep it civil, keep it classy, folks. Anybody in here cursing or trolling or anything like that, you'll be treated accordingly. And thank you anyway. I wanted to bring up this topic of chronic pain because it's something that's near and dear to my heart. A lot of us come to keto for weight loss, and not really expecting that one of the side effects of a ketogenic nutritional approach might be that a lot of our chronic pain might be greatly diminished or eliminated. But I also don't want to lead you to think that this is some kind of a panacea. I don't want you to think that this is a cure-all. One of the things that I tell people with type 2 diabetes is that, you don't get to turn back the hands of time. I don't make the rules on this stuff, but the truth is that you just don't get to turn back the hands of time and undo 100% of the mistakes that you've made in your life that led you to this point. So with that being said about chronic pain, I did a lot of stupid stuff as a kid, and I caused myself a lot of injuries. And I've had a lot of chronic pain as a result of those things. And to confound that, I had a lot of systemic inflammation, and much of what I deal with on a day-to-day basis has to do. Yeah, I can see the comments, Sherry. I did see you. Hi, welcome to this. Love this topic. Yes, I can see the comments. I just and as you can see, they're popping up on my screen thing here. So yes, I can see them. I just kind of wanted to introduce the topic, and I just wanted to talk about how I want to talk about how great of a difference keto can have with chronic pain, but I also don't want you to think that just because you have less chronic pain that all of the things that are wrong with you are cured. So that being said, I just wanted to open this up. And anybody have any comments or questions, even testimonials, if you have something to share about your experience with pain and keto, or what you're dealing with maybe a high carb, low fat diet. Are you experiencing chronic pain? Have you found a way other than keto to deal with your chronic pain? For me, part of my journey was when back in 2010, when I had to quit working for the post office, I was taking Vicodin 3-4 times a day, taking valerian root as a natural muscle relaxer, and Flexeril on occasion to try to alleviate all the muscle pains and joint pains that I had. Eventually that just wasn't cutting it. And, I was driving, when you're taking Vicodin, you're taking these hardcore drugs. So yes, on the YouTube side, we have Vengeance over there moderating. So I want to give a big shout out. Vengeance says, just woke up from a nap, so his brain is not fully functioning yet. Just bear with me. We did stupid stuff as a kid. Went over the handlebars on my bike. Yes. Scraped and scarred your knees horribly. Yes. See, all those things, they do take a toll. How many times did you go over your handlebars and you landed on the palms of your hands and you impacted your wrists and you had that pain in your wrist? Well, later on in life, that may come back to haunt you. And many of the things that I did as a kid, everything from breakdancing to freestyle BMX to skateboarding accidents, breaking my hands. I broke almost every bone in my hands. I have carpal tunnel syndrome. I have tendonitis. I have plantar fasciitis. All these things I've been diagnosed with. And keto does not necessarily cure these things. Keto alleviates a vast majority of the inflammation that I'm dealing with. And so as a result, I don't suffer from as much pain. And in fact, I can get by most days without taking anything for pain, almost all days. But occasionally I have to take something. You know, I might take some ibuprofen or some Tylenol or something like that to alleviate. And I know I'm opening up a whole can of worms from you guys about NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So I don't want to promote any of those things, but I mean, what do you do? I know some people resort to essential oils. I talked about that a little bit. I don't see any research really supporting that is you know, a cure. But huge elbow scar from a bike accident and a fall. See, now those scars, you know, I've heard it said that like every, you know, however many months or however many years or whatever it is that you replace, you replace your whole skin. And I'm not sure I 100% buy that, because I still have scars from when I was a kid. And I'm certain that your bones, you know, they replace some of those bones. They replace some of that calcium. They replace some of that bone tissue in the marrow cells and all of that stuff. I'm sure they're replaced. I'm not certain that they're 100% repaired to what we would call pre-loss condition. So let's use that term today in our talk. Pre-loss condition. Okay, you know, that's a term they use in car insurance. You know, we're going to restore your car to pre-loss condition. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're restored all the way back to like a brand new car, right? It's not without a scratch. It's not without a dent. But your last accident, right? You totaled your car, or you caved the door in, or you know, you smashed up the fender really bad, and we're going to restore you back to pre-loss condition. It doesn't, that term specifically does not refer to brand new. Okay, that's important to differentiate. I think my thing is not scrolling automatically. There we go. Sherry says, I have chronic pain through my whole body, but keto has reduced or eliminated most of it. I have a question for Vengeance, who has moderated over on the Twitch side. Did you ban the Restream bot? Because I don't see the Restream bot reposting your chat from YouTube over here. So I don't see the chat showing up over here. If you could, if you did, could you please maybe unban the Restream bot from doing that? Because I have that set up specifically for that. Anyway, yeah, so you know, you have scars from age 10 and 11, right? I have scars. I have scars from, you know, when I was a kid. I have scars on my elbows, on my hand. I have a scar on my hand from when I was like 13, and I scraped my hand, or I gouged my hand on a kickstand on a bike when I was repairing it, and I still have the scar from that thing. So anyway, yeah, so pre-loss condition is something that insurance companies use to strictly indicate this is not brand new, but this is like maybe just prior to your most recent accident. And we're going to try as much as we can to restore you back to pre-loss condition. But the truth is that with your body's an organic thing. You don't get to just like take this arm off and replace it with an original equipment manufacturer arm of yours. You know, you don't get to do that. So you're going to be suffering from whatever injury that you have. It's going to be there potentially for the rest of your life. So I want you to know that when you do keto, you know, it's probably going to reduce the amount of inflammation that you have in your life all the time. And that's strictly because the diet itself is not particularly anti-inflammatory, but what it is it's not pro-inflammatory. So when you're not adding inflammation to compound all the problems that you have with your body, then you're going to suffer less from the things that are wrong with your body. So autoimmune disorders are typically, they're almost all triggered by inflammation. Now, inflammation may not have caused the autoimmune disorder in the first place. There's still a lot of mysteries surrounding what causes like Takayasu's arteritis or PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. And for those of you who suffer with those things, keto does not cure those things. But what it does do is, because you have eliminated a lot of pro-inflammatory foods, you are suffering a lot less from inflammation because you've reduced those pro-inflammatory things in your life. So like you've gotten rid of refined vegetable oils. Hopefully you've stopped smoking, right? Hopefully the fats that you're eating are healthy fats, right? You may have gotten yourself to a financial place where you can afford to eat grass-fed everything, grass-fed butter, grass-fed steaks. I'm not there yet. You may have gotten yourself to where you can eat organic vegetables 100% of the time. I'm not quite there yet. I try to as much as I can, but I'm just here to say that keto has alleviated a lot of my chronic pain. So here's how I'm dealing with it, okay? And you guys can share your experiences as well. You have chronic pain from being bitten by a brown recluse. Man, wow. Yeah, I've dreaded the idea of being bitten by a hobo spider or a brown recluse, or having Lyme disease. Carrie Brown was just sharing this week that she was diagnosed with Lyme disease this week. So, pray for her. She's got a lot to think about with stuff that's going on in her life. She says it's amazing, and at the same time, it's stuff that she has to fix. But knowledge is power, or at least, as I say it, applied knowledge is power. So if you apply that knowledge, then it's power. A lot of people know stuff and don't do anything about it. That's not power. So carry more power to you as you apply it. Anyway, yeah. So in my case, I have, as I said, I have plantar fasciitis, I have tendonitis, I have arthritis in my hands, I have carpal tunnel syndrome. I was diagnosed maybe 8 years ago with carpal tunnel syndrome. So in my case, my carpal tunnel syndrome is pretty acute, but the inflammation that surrounds my hands is a lot less than it used to be back when I worked at the post office. Now, here's how I kind of define that. When I quit working at the post office, I still went a couple of years, 2-3 years after that, suffering from the same level of chronic pain when I wasn't doing anything, right? Like I was incapable of really doing a lot of manual labor at all. And I literally sat in a recliner a lot with these night splints on my ankles and night splints on my wrists and stuff, and kind of didn't do anything for a while. Any of the work that I did was just like sitting there working on videos, but not actually like doing a lot of manual labor. And even that, any of that repetitive stuff was really, it took a toll on me. And I suffered greatly physically. I was in immense pain all the time. Now, my experience is this on keto. Okay, if I do a lot of work that specifically aggravates the areas of my, for instance, my wrists and my fingers that are problematic, or if I don't wear my insoles that support my feet correctly to alleviate my plantar fasciitis, then those pains will come back, and they'll come back like full on, right? Really bad. However, if I stop doing the thing that's aggravating it, then here's the normal human response. You stop doing the thing that is hurting you, and it stops hurting, right? Or the pain starts to back off gradually, right? So I'm going to use this for instance, at my workplace. This is something that's very real to me right now. This is why I'm doing this topic, okay? This is why I'm like laser focused on this chronic pain thing, okay? At my work, I am packing boxes with merchandise and shipping it off, right? And I was doing that for, 8-10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I got to this point where every night I was waking up and my hands were just clenched up like this, and like my arms and my hands were just reflexing in my sleep, and my hands were swelling up and going numb and cramping up in the middle of the night, and you would not believe it. Hey, the Restream bot is working, at least on the YouTube side. So if you post something on the YouTube side, does Restream bot post it back to Twitch? So far, not happening. So it's working one way, but not the other. Anyway, so I asked my boss, I said, do you have anything else that I could do? Right? I try to like just know my body's limits, and I'm at this place where I've hit this limit, and it's really, really hurting me. So I don't want to like just drop off the face of the earth. I want to try to address this and give us both the opportunity for success. So, so she puts me in a different position, right? Where I'm picking items off the shelves to be packed later, and those go down the belt and somebody else packs them. Well, here's the thing is, as soon as she moved me over there, it, day by day, yeah, chat isn't scrolling on Facebook. Oh my gosh. Why is it not scrolling on Facebook? Oh my gosh. So sorry about that. Lurking. I tried to get it scrolling earlier. Why is it not doing that? Let's do this. Hello. Now we are scrolling, I think. Nope, still not scrolling. Well, I guess I'm going to have to just keep my eyes on that, aren't I? That just sucks. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. So hi to Leonie, hi to Linda, and yeah, Paula. Sorry about that. And hello, Tony. Thanks for bringing that up, buddy. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, the chat is not going back over to Twitch, so I think Restream bot is not working on the Twitch side. Anyway, thanks for bringing that to my attention again. Anyway, so she put me in this other position where I am in a, I'm considered a picker now, and it places me in a place where I'm doing something different from what I was doing before. So I'm just having to deal with this. This scrolly thing is just not working for me, and I'm not sure why it's not working. It's infuriating me. I have to keep doing it. So be it. Anyway, you guys. So almost immediately after they put me in this position, they the pain started to alleviate, and it was less and it's less and it's less. And one of the symptoms that came up like right away for me after I started this job was that I was playing guitar one day, and I'm just going to do it this way. I was playing guitar and my hand went dead in the middle of a song. My hand just went completely numb and I couldn't even feel the guitar. So I was dealing with this like thing in the middle of playing a song, in the middle of worship, and it completely went dead. Well, I was dealing with that for a couple of weeks, and like the week after I changed positions, it was a little bit better, and this week it's even better. So it's alleviating some, but I will say that, you know, it really put a test to this, right? I can see that if I continue to do, if I go back to doing the things that aggravated everything, then I will go back to hurting all the time. So I don't want to hurt all the time. So I'm asking, you know, I'm trying to stay in a place where I am not doing the things that are hurting me all the time. Anyway, I know it sounds like it's a little bit weird, like it's a little cop out, like, oh, well, he claimed that keto did all this for him and he didn't, and it didn't do all those things for him. Well, in my previous condition, when I was dealing with the chronic pain, I was dealing with it even if I didn't do anything, right? For years, I was suffering with this chronic pain from all of these injuries continuously, even when I wasn't doing anything. So now, if I stop doing the thing that I did that got me in that position in the first place, then I stop dealing with the pain so much, or at all. There are many days that I go through life without any pain. That was simply not the case at all. So that was simply not the case at all before. I mean, I continued to suffer from the pain even when I didn't do anything. If I'm going to trem pick and you have chronic pain, don't trem pick like Eddie Van Halen, because trem picking technique is super weird. Yeah, I don't trem pick. Sorry. Yeah, overuse syndrome. My right wrist in the 90s, never figured out what it was fully. Rarely have a problem now that I'm not in the office setting. Is that bot's car emulation problem? Because you get numb arms and hands. You sleep if I have them close to my chest. It could be. I do have problems sometimes when I when I bend my elbows too much. Yes, doctor, it hurts when I do that. Don't do that. Right. Exactly, Tony. Yeah, I strictly play rhythm on guitar, and when I just can't feel the strings and I'm going purely by muscle memory, it's like I'm flinging a cold dead ham at the neck of the guitar. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm just using the end button to the end key to keep the thing scrolling. It's working, but it's kind of jerry-rigged, and I know why it's happening, but I don't know why it continues to happen. Anyway, you guys, sorry about that. Just decided to come in. Todd, welcome to the chat. Decided to come in and kick it with you for a little bit. Great. Excellent. And I'm glad that YouTube is now holding on to the chat for replay. That's really great. And I record all the platforms of the chat specifically for replay, because depending on who does or doesn't support replay of the chat, I want it all to be stored there. And I want the YouTube people to be able to interact with the Facebook people and so on and so forth. So thank you guys for interacting and for chatting. So zero pain in wrist with keto, but I have chronic 24/7, though greatly reduced back and hip pain on keto. Yes, Sherry, it's been a long journey for me. That's something I finally got to the point where I have days where I have no pain. It's not all the time, but I do have days that I have no pain. And those are days when I'm not doing any of the things that make my body mad. I can really enjoy life. I was riding my bike last weekend, and I noticed that my hands went numb almost immediately when I started riding, and I hate that. But I know that in my current state, as long as I'm doing less of the things that make those injuries mad, then that inflammation will reduce like a normal thing, right? So we've talked about like heart disease and inflammation, right? We've talked about how like atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, calcification of your heart, those things are caused by inflammation, not by fat and cholesterol in the diet, but by inflammation. If you don't have inflammation, then those things don't tend to develop because, well, they're caused by inflammation. Wounds get created in the arteries. Cholesterol does its job. It comes there and it patches up the wounds. And a normal person who has little to no inflammation in their body, that inflammation gradually goes away. Their wound gets healed like a normal person, and then the cholesterol gets swept down the bloodstream to go serve some other purpose, because cholesterol is an essential thing in the body. So in a normal person who's injured, right? They're injured. Their body has a response. It becomes inflamed. It becomes swollen. It tries to do whatever it can to repair itself. It heals itself as best as it can. The inflammation goes away like a normal person, and then you don't suffer so much from it, right? But when you're eating a diet that is pro-inflammatory, so like eating all these refined vegetable oils that have been pushed on us, eating all of these carbohydrates and cereals and whole grains that we've been told are healthy but are actually pro-inflammatory, eating lots and lots of sugar because we've been told that we need it to grow strong and healthy. Our brains have to have it because that's our primary source of fuel, or some other myth that you've been told. It leads to a diet that constantly has you in a state of inflammation. An email this morning? I'm not sure if I checked my email today. I'm not a person that does email. I'll do like Messenger or stuff like that, but I'm not sure if I got anything in an email, Todd. Anyway, that's something that I really wanted to focus on today, because chronic pain, you don't have to suffer from it as much. But those things that you did to yourself, those injuries that you gave yourself, they don't just magically go away because you started doing keto. Okay. You may have carpal tunnel syndrome. You may have injured your wrist. You may have injured your fingers, your hands, your arms, your feet, your legs, your back, in a way that keto is just not going to fix it. It may reduce the amount of suffering that you have to go through when inflammation compounds that injury and makes it worse, makes the suffering part worse. You may not have to go through all of the terrible symptoms of your autoimmune disorder all the time, because your autoimmune disorder is responding to inflammation, right? When you don't have as much inflammation in your body, you may not have to suffer from those things as much. I really want to drive this home. Keto is not the panacea that cures all these things, right? You do get to reverse your type 2 diabetes, but you don't get to turn back the hands of time and say, I'm not ever going to be diabetic again, guess what? If you just stop eating keto, you know, it's like every other diet, right? They say, well, as soon as I stopped eating that way, I gained all the weight back. That's, you know, blame it on the diet. No, don't blame it on the diet. Blame it on the crap that you ate when you stopped eating that way. Keto is not magic. No, Sherry, keto is not magic. In this group, we don't believe in magic. What we do believe in is that science is on our side. Science says that these fats never cause the problem. Inflammation caused the problem. So having a diet that is lacking in pro-inflammatory ingredients, that tends to lend to the idea that you're going to suffer less from the things that are exacerbated by inflammation. That you stuck your hand on the stove and you burned your hand, right? Eating keto does not magically cause all the blisters to go away, does not magically cause all of the damaged skin to be fixed. It doesn't magically cause that to happen. What it does say is that when you take your hand off of the burner and then you allow the skin to heal, that maybe you don't have to suffer from constant nerve pain all the time because of inflammation that keeps making everything hurt all the time. All those injuries that you had, the inflammation makes it hurt all the time, more and more and more. And gradually, the more inflammation you have in your body, the more you're going to hurt all the time. Tony says he believes in unicorns and fluffy puppy farts. Say that 10 times fast. Yeah, fluffy puppy farts. Nice. Yes, it's a lifestyle. That is true, Leonie. You know, I know people hate that term diet, but it is actually a clinical term. It's a diet, right? If you were a lion, you would eat a steady diet of the weakest animal in the herd. You would eat the slowest antelope would get eaten. That's your diet. Okay. So when I refer to diet, I mean, that's what you eat. Yes. 10 times. Say that 7 times, 10 times fast. Yes. Thank you, Tony. I talked to 2 people at church today who are doing keto to lose weight. They then will go back to SA diet. I want to say, no, you don't get it. Yeah, well, the thing that made you gain weight on a standard American diet will once again make you gain weight after you've lost it all on keto if you go back to the standard American diet. And that is, chances are, insulin resistance, because that's mostly to blame. The problem is too much insulin. What caused the too much insulin to be there is up for debate, and it changes with each individual person and what they've done to themselves. Anything you eat is a diet. That is true, Sherry. That is the clinical definition, really. The clinical definition. What you eat, that's your diet, right? Tony went to the Facebook side. Yeah. Well, he's all over the place. He was on the YouTube side to let me know that the Facebook side wasn't scrolling. Yeah. Hey, you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but the brighten your day thing, I really love doing it. I love doing the videos, and I love that we have people participating, and I never want to put pressure on people to feel like they have to participate. I'm glad that we have people that are contributing and participating. I think that brightening your day is probably maybe one of the most important things in making your life more enjoyable. So I'm really glad that we have people participating in the whole brighten your day thing. We're coming up on 1/4 to the hour, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the book giveaway thing just very briefly. There are books. They're in the description on Facebook. They're in the description on YouTube. They will be in the description on Twitch. If now or in the next 24 hours, you guys say that you're interested, I will pick the very first person who says that they're interested in one of the books. So if you have a book that's in that list in the description on YouTube or on Facebook, please let me know that you're interested in a book. I will pick the first person who has, nobody's won in the last 4 weeks because nobody's asked for a book in the last 4 weeks. So it's wide open. If you're interested in one of the books that's in the list, take a look at the list, see if there's one that you like, and just let me know. And I will mail it to you free of charge if you are in the continental United States, or actually if you're in the United States at all, mail it to you free of charge, book rate, slow boat. And if you're not in the US, all you have to do is fly to Reno, Nevada, come to my house, and I will ship it to the front door of my apartment and give it to you free of charge. So you still get a free book. You just have to fly here to get it if you're not in the United States. So thanks for that. So all you have to do is say that you're interested. If you are interested in one of these books, just let me know, and we'll PM each other and figure out which book you're going to get. So this is a great topic. I love this topic. It's near and dear to my heart. I'm going to talk about it more. I'm going to talk about it probably again in a few weeks, because I think that this is a topic that really deserves some attention. What keto does and does not do for chronic pain is important to know. And one of the things that Carrie Brown, I appreciate her insight on these things regarding genetics and regarding, expensive free book. Yes. Yeah, if you have to fly here to get it. Yeah, I totally agree. So Leonie, you're on your way, right? Have you found that there are certain types that keto just doesn't help? No, not for me. I will say that all of my chronic pain has been dramatically helped by keto. I will say that I don't think that any of it is cured, so to speak, because if I go back to doing the thing that makes it mad again, like right away, it's very quick that the pain comes back, right? It's very quick. It wasted no time at all. Within a week of starting that new job, immediately I had the effects of it. I don't think there is a form of pain that keto doesn't help. But what it won't do is fix the thing entirely. It doesn't repair your tissue, so to speak. Your body can do that maybe over time, given a lack of inflammation over time. I think that your body can heal some of it, most of it maybe. But keto doesn't magically cure a broken bone or, diminished integrity of a joint. I'll give you an example. Okay. I have a pinky bone. You can probably see this pretty clearly. It's swollen, and it's swollen to the point where my finger doesn't straighten. You see, I've got this other pinky that's almost totally straight and this other pinky that is not totally straight. So yeah, this is caused from a log dropping on my pinky. I won't say how that happened, but it was pretty dramatic at the time. And over the next year, this the little sac of fluid that's in your joint, it ruptured and it made a bulge, and it caused a big problem. And every time I bump this pinky bone, it hurts really bad, right? If I don't bump it, it's not painful. But if I bump it, it's painful. This injury has not gone away. This swelling in the pinky, in this knuckle, has not gone away ever. And but I don't always suffer from the pain. If I don't bump it over time, I don't. That might help Leone, if I tested my pH balance. The knuckle bursting thing, that's not arthritis. No, that was actually, we had it x-rayed, and it's just basically the fluid sac that ruptured when I was a kid. And it didn't happen to my other fingers. It just happened to the one. So that's not arthritis. That's just that particular knuckle was injured by a log dropping on it. And almost within like a week or two, that bulge started happening. So it swelled up like a big balloon. The whole thing looked like a big fat cigar. And then after that went away, the bulge happened in the knuckle, and it never went away. And the bending of the finger happened gradually over time, and that's partly to do with a knotted fascia that's happened here. So I have a fascia, a tendon that has knotted up in the side here, and that's pulling my finger tight where it won't straighten out so much. So, you know, keto doesn't fix that. What it does help with is it definitely makes my pain level less. How much I suffer from it is less. I've noticed a huge decrease in ganglion cysts. And I'm not sure what a ganglion cyst is. Maybe you can explain that, but it does sound painful. Just the word ganglion sounds painful. Thank you, Jackson. Jackson says, I got a cool haircut. I like my haircut now. It took me a minute to come to grips with it. I wanted to, you know, really kind of give my hairdresser what for, but now I'm kind of okay with it. So anyway, you guys, this has been a great topic. It seems like a lot of people are interested in this topic and how much it like, because it rules a lot of people's life, right? Am I right that pain can rule your life? It can change your life. It can change your quality of life. It can change you living. I know people who have because their pain level was so great, they wanted to end it because of pain. They live on opioids because they can't function any other way. And then some people you end up ruled by this opioid because it's so addictive and you can't get off of it. So you not only end up ruled by your pain, but even if your pain goes away because you're on keto or whatever, you are still ruled by the opioid. So the bumps that show up on joints for no reason, hereditary, I think. That sounds bad. Yeah. Yeah, this is not a ganglion cyst then, if that's what that is. This is something that was manufactured by a log. Yeah. So you're saying that so you've had ganglion cysts and they've been decreased dramatically by keto. You know, they might be something that's like like I say, like an autoimmune response that's triggered by inflammation, and you know, the suffering from it or the pain from it, or maybe the occurrence of it might be reduced dramatically by getting rid of a lot of the inflammation, by getting rid of pro-inflammatory foods. If you're looking for a great guest, next week, I'd be happy to do it. Vengeance, we'll talk about that. We got to keep it focused on nutrition though. And I'm not sure if you're doing keto or not, dude. So got to keep it focused. Laser focused. You know what I mean? All keto all the time over here on the BroBryceHealth side. Anyway, you guys, we're coming up in the last 8 minutes of this. If you have some great questions or comments regarding chronic pain, even like some of the autoimmune stuff we've been talking about too, I'd be happy to address it or talk about it, or, you know, share your testimony. Sherry's been sharing a lot of her testimony today, so I'm really thankful to Sherry for her contributions and for moderating stuff over there on the Facebook side too. Your mom had them, you had them. I haven't had one since February. And you started keto like in January, right, Sherry? Am I right? And I do want to talk about a little bit about like, carnivore versus like orthodox keto. Orthodox keto is a very low carb, moderate protein, very high fat approach. Carnivore is more like just eat animal, right? And most people who are doing carnivore are limited dairy, but dairy is not completely off the menu because it's still animal stuff. But there's no, like carnivore is like no veg, no vegetables, no vegetable matter, no nuts, no any of those things. Southern keto, keto. Keto. Keeping it keto. That's right. Started in February. Okay. So you haven't had one of the cysts at all since you started at all, right? I know people who have dealt with like I used to deal with this. I had this growing rosacea on my face. I still have it a little bit, but it's diminished dramatically. I mean, I'm like the rest of my family. I got moles like a cheetah. So I'm kind of spotted, like I'm more spotted than a spotted owl. I got spots all over me. The sun has kissed me many times. And but I had this rosacea growing on my face that was really kind of disturbing. I'd see pictures of me and I'd want to Photoshop it and like try to fix it. Animal and coffee. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, animal and coffee. Pretty much. Yeah. And yeah, I'm a big fan of both. I actually love how I feel when I'm going full on carnivore, but I'm still not shy. I'll eat a vegetable when I want to. And I'll eat some nuts when I want to, but I don't ever feel anymore like I have to. I find that the way that I am most sustainable in this lifestyle is to keep it where I can do what I want. I just know that I don't want to go off plan. I just don't want to eat bread. I don't want to eat grain. For the most part, I don't eat any keto desserts, but I did make a cheesecake a couple weeks ago. And I will say this, my response to it was, I will say measured. I noticed a difference in how I felt. I noticed that my body seemed to react to that much dairy and that much, the nuts and the crust that I used. So, you know what? I'm going to enjoy those things when I want to. I don't think that I need to have keto goodies all the time. Yeah, Miles Black. Those don't go away, but skin tags do. All my skin tags have not gone away. Some of them have diminished greatly, but yeah, I know some people who say when they started doing keto, their skin tags fell off. I have noticed that mine have not grown, but they haven't gone away. Moles, not miles. Moles, Black, those don't go away. Yeah, I've got moles and freckles, and I got moles for days. Dang it. You crave leafy greens and you feel better when you have them. I do. I feel better. I feel just way better when I just eat carnivore. It's just that I want something else sometimes. So I just eat something else sometimes. I eat some veg when I want to. Like last night, I had some cauliflower and broccoli, and I didn't feel bad about it. And I feel like my digestive tract, though, is more geared toward meat. And I do way better at like being regular and having less inflammation and pain the more toward carnivore that I go. That is my experience with me. And I know that a lot of people have different food tolerances. You still have some, but less. Yeah, I think mine have diminished some, but I've got some skin tags that are just like, they're going to be there forever. maybe they won't. Again, it's a long journey, and I've learned a lot even since I started doing these streams. What was it? I started doing these streams, I think, October last year, and I've learned so much since then. My train of thought has changed so much since then. Like when I started this, I was like, dude, you got to have your vegetables, right? Now I'm like, well, if you like vegetables, go for it. Eat vegetables. But if you find that your carb count is too high on those vegetables and you're gaining weight, or you're feeling inflammation, or you're having irritable bowel syndrome because you're eating so much vegetables, maybe give it a shot. Try going without, see what happens. Because as we talked about a week or two ago, you don't have to have fiber in your diet. It is not essential. Fiber is not essential, just not. So keeping your electrolytes balanced, that is something that is essential. And Leonie brings up a great point, that pH balance you talked about. You know, I'm not sure if there's a way, like, is there a way like that we can check our pH balance? Like, because I know the pH of the blood is different from that of the stomach. It's different from that of the urine. It's different from that of the brain tissue. There's different pH levels in your body. And I know that the pH of your stomach is supposed to be like super acidic, right? Like peel the paint off your Humvee, super acidic. And everybody's like, well, you got too much acid in your stomach. That's why you have acid reflux. That is not why you have acid reflux. Completely different issue. So yeah, but I'm just talking about, you know, let's address all of these things. And one of the things that Carrie Brown was talking about was, you know, there's a type of doctor, and I forget what they're called, but she did send me a link where I could talk to that person remotely. But you know, there may be other problems wrong that keto just does not fix. Like if you have Lyme disease, you're going to have some achy joints. You're going to have some problems that may be inexplicable by other ways, by other manners, except to address them directly. You may not even find the diagnosis for these things unless you're looking straight at it, looking straight for it. Anyway, we've come to 5 o'clock and we are done with this hour. And if no one has claimed a book yet for this hour, so if in the next 24 hours somebody does say that they're interested in the chat over on YouTube or on Twitch, remember that as soon as this broadcast is over on Facebook, the Facebook side will be deleted, and then we will repost the link for the YouTube side, so you can go back over there and rewatch this video on replay. And that is there's a whole video explaining why we did that. But I hate having to do that, but it is what it is, and Facebook likes to delete videos for whatever they have reasons for. Anyway, so thank you for watching, and I hope that you find this very informative. You know, I'm going to add a link on the YouTube and Twitch side for Carrie's video on Facebook that she did, and it's really eye-opening. Yes, Sherry, I agree. It was really eye-opening, and Carrie was really candid with me to talk a little bit about the practitioner, so I appreciate that. Let's find out what else is wrong with you. You know, that really makes me think, like there may be something else worth looking at that might be wrong. That keto is helping with the inflammation side, but maybe there's something else that we can actually hammer on and address directly that's causing those other issues. So anyway, until next week, and in fact, well, until sometime this week when we come up on a Brighten Your Day video, I want you guys to take a moment and just spend a moment just talking to somebody maybe that you don't talk to every day, and raise their spirits. Find some way to share a story with them, a poem with them, or a picture with them that made you think of them. And I hope that you will brighten somebody's day today, because brightening somebody's day is really the clearer path to true health and happiness. Anyway, thank you for watching. I want to give another big shout out to Sherry Atanasov for moderating over on the Facebook side, and to Vengeance for moderating over on the YouTube and Twitch side. Thank you very much, you guys, for all the help that you do, and for everybody that is contributing to the Brighten Your Day videos every week. I appreciate it so much. And give a big shout out to Carrie when you go over and watch her video. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you again next week. Talk to you soon. Up. Bye-bye.
And the sprinklers turn on. That's how I saw it happen in my mind. It will come true, though, before long. I'm not blind, girl, I must confess. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress. I need a glass of water, I need fresh air. I tried to get some love, but the room is like an oven when you're in here. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress.